Hey there, Maricopa. This is Maria Poor. I am one of the Cultural Affairs and Arts Committee members for the City of Maricopa. And here today we have one of our local artists creating one of the beautiful signal box portraits. I'm here today with artist Veronica Lichtenstein, who created this beautiful mural. Veronica, what does this represent for you?
This is, when I was thinking about Maricopa and the kind of box I would want to paint, I just started to think about what's one of the main activities that people in my neighborhood do. And me and my daughter go bike riding all the time, especially around Halloween and Christmas time, to look at all the displays and to enjoy the weather during that season. So I wanted to make a mural of a joyful bike ride, and that's what it is. It's a blissful joy ride. This is part of our Super Bloom, and this is actually this street on Honeycutt, which was just like a month ago, was all blown up with these yellow trees and the green pieces out there. So it's just one of my favorites because it reminds me of the amount of fun times we had together going bike riding every night.
And this piece directly represents you and your family life and your family together. Describe that for us.
Absolutely. We love going on bike rides and going around the neighborhood. We love getting picnics. We'll pick up Chipotle and then we'll just, find a spot under a tree and just hang out. And it's one of those things where she'll want to do it every night and she gets to talk about the end of her day and open up, and it's just a really fun event for us to do. And I think as I've been doing this piece and bike riders have come by, it's been fun to see families together see this and feel like they're being captured from Maricopa.
What does it mean to you to have this gorgeous public artwork up in your city?
Just the world. I'm so excited. I'm excited to have seeing the 9 other pieces that are going to be out there, just to see what everybody has and everybody's unique fingerprint and art, and seeing what they're going to come up with. I'm just excited to see more of this throughout the city because I think it just really brings out the community to life.
It does. Thank you so much for being a part of our public art initiative here in the city of Maricopa. Thank you so much for gifting our community with your talents. It's beautiful and something that people can really enjoy and last a really long time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Welcome back to the program where the questions are answers and the answers don't stop. It's Maricopa's favorite game show, Permit or Not. I'm your host, Luis Vila, and I'd like to remind our viewers today that if you have any questions regarding any of the categories today, please leave them in the comments below. Now let's take a look at the board. The categories today are city services, do I need a permit for that? What's being developed? City events, library, and roads. Bob, why don't you lead things off for us?
Thank you, Luis. I'll take do I need a permit for that for 200?
I would like to pour a slab of concrete in my backyard. Do I need a permit for that?
What is no?
That is correct. Slabs or pavers in your backyard are up to the owner's discretion. However, any work being done in the front yard, you'll need to contact your HOA.
I'll take permits for 600.
My pool needs to be drained. Do I need a permit for that?
Yes.
I mean, what is yes?
What is no?
That is correct. Pro tip, if you're looking to drain the water in your pool, you'll find 2 black water conduits in the front of your home. One of them leads directly to sewage. Plug it in and you're ready to begin draining. However, you'll need to contact Global Water first, as the pool water needs to be of a specific pH level before you can begin the draining. So that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to tune in next time to Permit or Not, and until then, feel free to visit www.maricopa-az.gov for all of your questions regarding city events, permits, and more. Or leave us a comment below and we'll be sure to get back to you.
Good evening. There we go. I am calling to order the Monday, November 13th, 2023 City of Maricopa Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Having called us to order, we're going to have the invocation given by Commissioner Irving and the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Singleton. All rise who are able, please.
Dear Father, thank you for another day. Thank you for your many blessings. Just be with us, guide us as we go about our work. And we continue just to lift up to you the people around the world who are suffering with the war issues, and just a guiding hand to keep them safe. We ask all this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Juarez.
Here.
Commissioner Singleton.
Here.
Vice Chair Robertson.
Here.
Chair Yoakum.
Here.
Commissioner Irving.
Here.
Commissioner Hughes.
Here.
Chair Yoakum, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Call to the public. If you wish to speak, please complete a speaker card and submit it to the chairman prior to the start of the meeting. The procedures to follow if you address the commission are: commission requests that you express your ideas in 3 minutes or less and refrain from any personal attacks or derogatory statements about any city employee, a fellow citizen, or anyone else, whether in the audience or not. The chairman will limit discussion whenever he deems such an action appropriate to the proper conduct of the meeting. Next, we have minutes, and we have two months of minutes, and I'm looking for MIN 23-62, approval of minutes from the September 25th, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting.
Move approval as submitted.
Do we have a second? Second. Okay, we have a move to approve by Commissioner Irving, and Vice Chair has given us a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 4.2, minute 23-63, approval of minutes from the October 23rd, 2023 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
We have a move approval motion made by Commissioner Irving. Do we have a second?
Second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Jim did.
Commissioner Singleton, a second. Any discussion? If no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Commission carries. Regular agenda. Item 5.1, GPA 23-02. I'm sorry, let's back up a little bit. I'm going to open the call to the public, which we had not done. If anybody would like to talk on any of the topics that are on the agenda, I would appreciate your holding off until we get to those items on the agenda. Otherwise, would anybody like to come up and speak in the spirit of the call to the public? Yes, sir. If you will, please state your name and address.
My name is Jose Mesa. I'm a local resident here in Maricopa. I'm not sure if this is right. I'm not sure if I'm in the right place or time, but I heard that this was the place to come. My name is Jose. I'm looking to start up a food truck park here in Maricopa. It's called Maricopa Eats, and it would be located on Honeycutt Road on the Heritage District. It would be right in front of where Honeycutt Coffee's at, in Maricopa and all that. That's right there. So I was coming out here to see if what kind of feedback I could get from it, I guess. Before I'm still working on submitting the application for the pre-application, and so I wanted to come out here and kind of get your guys' feedback, see there's any on it. It'll be a family-friendly environment. We're looking to provide a good location, a safe spot for food truck owners. You know, a lot of them are having issues in certain places where they're parking at. So we want to provide a safe spot for them, something clean, something family-friendly that's inviting, and something so that way they can also generate enough to feed their families, because I know some of them had a closed shop. We want to mainly focus on providing an outdoor dining area for where the food trucks are at. So we would have artificial turf, things of that sort, gravel, and just make it look really nice and presentable. We want to have a farmer's market on the weekends, have arts and crafts festivals here and there as well. If possible, have movie nights to have even more families come out and gather together. You know, just provide a good, positive, a positive environment of gathering for the families out here, especially within that community. I spoke to some of the neighbors there. They're really excited about it, that's what we're aiming for. I have some printouts if you guys would like to have them, so you guys can check them out. You guys can kind of see. I did them myself. I'm running a really tight budget. I'm doing this basically on my own. So I'm doing everything from scratch, from the ground up. But yeah, I have some copies if you guys would like to see them. I'm not sure who to give them to.
Yeah, Jose, it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
Chairman, if I may, commissioners, we had a pre-application meeting with Jose probably 6 weeks ago,
It was 2 weeks
month ago, something like
Yeah,
that.
mid last.
We're looking at that vacant site across from the Honeycut Cafe. And so what we did was we sat down and met with him along with engineering and just went over some of the expectations that, you know, he can expect when it comes to on-site and off-site improvements with respect to circulation within the site, the requirements for restrooms, landscaping, things of that nature. So where we are in the process, eventually we're going to get back together again with an official pre-application meeting and start the site plan process or the development review permit process moving forward. At which point, you know, y'all will see that again because of the informational item nature of the site plan process. So if you would like to leave those with me,
Yeah, definitely.
I'll make sure each one of them get a copy of that.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll take it from there.
Thank you so much.
You bet.
Thank you.
Well, thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you guys for your time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move along. Anybody else have any comments that they'd like to make other than those items on the agenda? If not, I'm going to close the call to the public, and we'll move on to item 5.1, GPA 23-02, public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a major general plan amendment on approximately 80-plus acres, effectively changing the future land use designation from low-density residential, that's LDR, to medium-density residential, MDR, and commercial, C. The site is generally located at the northwest corner of West Steen Road and North Murphy Road, and this is for discussion and action. We have a staff presentation, please.
Yes. Hello, Chairman, members of the Commission. Derek Shearer with Planning Division of the Development Services Department, here to present. I have a joint presentation for the next two items, items 5.1 and 5.2, GPA 2302, Pecan Groves, and PAD 2217, Pecan Groves. Both applications are combined for one project. The applicant on the project is CVL Consultants. The location is at the northeast corner of West Steen Road and North Murphy Road, highlighted in the picture above. It is just over 80 acres, it's about 80.5 acres. This is a request for a major general plan amendment and a planned area development rezone for this site, as was read in, to change it from existing low-density residential to medium-density residential and commercial for its land use designation, and to change its zoning from general industrial CI2 to planned area development, the Pecan Groves planned area development, for ultimate development of a single-family residential subdivision and a small neighborhood commercial pad. On the screen, I have the current future land use map and the proposed future land use map. As you can see, low-density residential on the left-hand side, that's what it currently is. The applicant is proposing to change it to medium-density residential and commercial. The commercial area is going to be approximately 5.2 acres. The rezone is to rezone the entire 80.5 acres from the CI2 general industrial to the planned area development for Pecan Groves. The planned area development for Pecan Groves follows I'm sorry, I lost myself here. As you can see here, the conceptual land use plan, what the applicant is proposing is to rezone this property to be able to do this single family subdivision with typical lot sizes of 40 by 115, 45 by 120, and 60 by 125. The 60 by 125 are in that upper left-hand corner, the more lightly shaded. The medium shade is the 45 by 120, and the darker shade over around the commercial area is 40 by 115. Again, this is a conceptual land use plan. The ultimate layout of the site will be determined at a preliminary plat. There are some significant drainage issues on the site and south of the site that the applicant is currently working on to create a more formalized application for their preliminary plat. As I said, the commercial area is approximately 5.2 acres and it follows the neighborhood commercial. So what we'll be looking at here is small retail, strip development, 5.2 acres. It's not going to be anything very significant. It's not a big enough site for, say, a Fry's or anything, but for strip mall development to serve the needs of the community here that's being proposed. Internally, it'll be connected by a network of streets and sidewalks, also landscape strips, as we'll see in the next slides. You can see that in the proposed PAD, the applicant has put in some notable design elements that include various pocket parks, an internal linear trail system, lush landscaping, emphasizing the entry monuments. Entry monuments will be where you see A and B located, so entry off of Steen and entry off of Murphy. Internal streets are going to have a typical 50-foot right-of-way with a detached 5-foot sidewalk, plantings and shrubs between the sidewalk and the back of curb. As you can see, this is all conceptual, but the applicant has put a lot of emphasis on creating a very walkable environment here. The commercial portion will be connected by a road network at the north side to the actual subdivision instead of being completely isolated where residents would have to go out onto the main streets, whether Steen or Murphy, and then come back into the commercial. They'll be able to access it right from their entry. Staff has looked at the proposal and the medium density residential and commercial designations, given the context of the area and the development goals of the area is appropriate, and staff is supportive of it. Staff has also looked at the conceptual site plan along with the PAD, the language in it, and it meets the requirements. And for the development standards applicable requirements for Section 18 of the zoning ordinance as amended in the PAD, in the PAD there's very few amendments to the base zones. The applicant is pretty much sticking with the single-family district, but reducing a little bit of the lot sizing that's required. The applicant, because this is a major general plan amendment, it's a major general plan amendment because it's over 80 acres, changing it from the low-density residential to any other classification. There's significant public outreach as required by state statute. I won't go through the whole list, but there's been 2 neighborhood meetings, multiple postings in the newspaper. This was before the Planning Commission a little over a month ago as an informational, now here before you for action, and then it's scheduled for the December 5th City Council meeting. Staff recommends approval of GPA 23-02 and PAD 22-17. Each application requires a separate motion and action, and the motion and action on the general plan amendment has to occur before the rezone. And I'm happy to answer any questions on either of the two cases.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant here? Would he like to make a presentation or any comments?
I'm Brian Weed with Cohen Van Loo, CVL Consultants. Our address is 4550 North 12th Street in Phoenix. I don't have a formal presentation, but I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay. That having been said, we have both the staff and the applicant in front of us. Do the commissioners have any questions or concerns? Vice Chair Robertson?
Thank you. So going to the medium density from the low density, is that actually what allowed for the expanded commercial space to be plugged in?
That's assisting us, yes. You can imagine having a commercial space adjacent to a low density is not desirable. Here, if we didn't have a map on the screen, but I think we probably have one. Derek probably has one elsewhere. But there is a surrounding community to the north, which is known as the Maricopa 40, and then there's also a parcel to the west, which is known as Cortona, that were previously approved as, well, Cortona was several years ago, Maricopa 40 was more recent. So it's really kind of bringing together that whole section of property into something I think that's probably a little more right-sized for the market today, but it also does allow us to create that 5 acres of neighborhood commercial.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good approach to building these commercial spaces out there in East Maricopa. Pretty important to us. Probably a question for staff, or just a comment for the sake of the public. What are the benefits of designating this as a planned area development as opposed to what it currently is? What do we gain by making that switch?
Well, for the planned area development, the applicant is applying for it to adjust some of the development standards. Reducing the lot size is one, and then through that, what we get with the design elements in our ordinance, if you're going to vary certain development standards, whether it's lot area, setbacks, then they have to add additional design elements. These design elements such as the trail network or and some sort of interconnectivity, upping what the amenities are for the pocket parks. We don't regulate how many amenities must be in a pocket park, but when it comes to a PAD, then the staff has a little bit of leeway there to say, well, this needs to be amenitized, and to what level. In the PAD booklet, the applicant has included number of minimum amenities that must be included for ultimate development. And that's how we do with PADs. It's sort of they want to vary the base standard, and through variation, the community gets some benefits in design elements.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yep.
Yes, Commissioner Hughes?
Yeah, thank you. I know in previous meetings I asked a question about Murphy Road. Yeah, I would like to know what class road Murphy Road will be, and is the money appropriated to redo that road?
Murphy Road is an arterial, and I don't know if monies have been appropriated. Each developer on each side of the road is responsible for their half-street improvements up to that level.
With all the new development going in on Murphy Road, the money isn't allocated to redo it yet. That's what you're saying.
The money comes in and gets developed.
Is it in
by
the city
developers.
budget, or is it?
Well, it's not developed specifically by the city. It is the applicants are responsible for developing their half-street improvements for the width of where their lot is. So from here, the applicant would be responsible for their half-street, their west side of Murphy, from Steen up to their property boundary, and then also along, Murphy, and then also along Steen on the south, on their south side.
At what point will they redo the road?
Chair and Commissioner, as a part of this project, my client, and ultimately the home builder, will be dedicating both right-of-way on Murphy Road and Steen Road and making those full roadway improvements on the half-street improvements as a part of their on-site, as a part of their project. So when a home builder becomes involved after we get through, we're at the zoning stage now. We'll get through a preliminary plat and then ultimately get through a final plat process with staff. At that point, a home builder will likely become engaged on the project. And then that home builder will develop all of the interior roadways, water and sewer, as well as the exterior roadways and water and sewer. In addition to that, the project will fund through the impact fees approximately $890,000 that will be given to the city by the home builder to allow for other regional improvements that the city has a part of their CIP process.
And what was that number again for regional improvement?
The regional improvement, almost $900,000.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Commissioner Irving?
Yeah, my concern is over on page 8 of our hand, it says existing roadway and circulation conditions. This is for the city. Sort of tagging along with Mr. Hughes, can you give me an estimate of how many developments we've approved to Murphy Road down to Casa Grande? My concern is with Anderson Farms, with this, with the high school being a four-year high school, with the approval from Volkswagen all the way down, and you're telling me that the proposed development is expected that the majority of the traffic will access the property from Murphy Road via the Maricopa Casa Grande Highway. Traveling north, it will go down Honeycutt Road. I can't vision how many vehicles you're talking about to go down that one road with the number of populations going to be out there. I guess what I'm looking for is the same thing with Murphy. Farrell Road, I don't know if that'll ever get done. I'm just worried we're creating an unbelievable traffic situation east of town, and I understand the need for the development, but those people are going to be stranded out there, and I just don't think what you have here is a visionary plan about how they're going to get north and how they're going to get west. I guess I'm just would like somebody from the city to tell me that there's some traffic plan other than they're all going to go down Honeycutt Road, which is what this says here, or they're going to come down Casa Grande Highway, which will only help them if they're going the other direction. So that's a lot of houses we've approved, which is fine, but can somebody tell me a visionary plan for how all these people are going to get north and west?
Yes, through these, Chairman, Commissioner Irving. Okay, excuse me. I can't speak on behalf of the city engineer or Capital Projects Department, but Murphy Road as an arterial is going to eventually, ultimately be 2 lanes each direction with a median.
Okay.
So if you can imagine years ago, Porter Road or Honeycutt, it was a 1-lane road, or both of them were 1-lane roads at one point. And these developments came in, developed on each side with the subdivisions. And as the subdivisions developed, as part of their development process, their off-site improvements and their half-street improvements upgraded Honeycutt and Porter to what you see today that handles that amount of traffic. And if you think of Homestead and all the other subdivisions on Porter and then the level of road that it is, it's because of developments like this that put in the money to be able to develop it up to that capacity. The timing of it, it'll occur as these get developed, as these get approved for plats, and once those plats get recorded and they start to do their engineering, then the monies come in and they have to start figuring out the timing of exactly which segment to do, how to do it. That's not really with us with planning, more with Public Works and the city engineer on figuring out those exact timelines. But we do try our best to make sure that all those infrastructure improvements are there for before all of these houses are even built.
I don't know, just going to that area, we have 3 public schools out that way. And if you try to travel west on Honeycutt now, it's impossible now. So I guess I just want to assure people that there is a plan by the city that they will be able to get west into the city because, again, if you try to travel that way now with the 3 different schools starting at different times, and you're saying the only way is Honeycutt, you know, again, I all for the development. I think it sounds great, but I just don't want to create a situation for our citizens in Maricopa when they buy out there that they're on an island and they can't get west, other than Honeycutt.
So to answer one question about the school, again, this is Ryan at Cohen Van Loo. Regarding the school, there is funding in place for the school district to complete the improvements for Farrell Road. So hopefully that comes through here well before this project reaches final plat or prior to people living in this project. We do have an approved TIA that was submitted as a part of the application, and I appreciate Derek's trying to play traffic engineer like he said, but that has been approved by the city engineer, so each of the projects as you've seen tonight will have an approved TIA in place. And we do as an engineer myself, and as my client will tell you, traffic is a concern for them and the future homeowners and the future home builder here. Nobody, our home building friends don't want to buy a project or start a subdivision project that's going to have a traffic problem for their future buyers. So they'll want to work with us to make sure all of the same concerns you're mentioning are addressed as a part of their project. And that's the reason we obviously make the roadway improvements adjacent to the project, but also help fund the city coffers for those future CIP projects that Derek was talking about, so that they have the ability, the city staff, city engineers, city public works officials have the ability to come in and find traffic congestion areas and then address those areas on projects that are more of a regional, not immediately adjacent to this project, but they could be just down the street from this project, adding a traffic signal, putting up a temporary signal, doing whatever needs to be done to help manage traffic in areas where development hasn't yet occurred. It would be between this project and, say, Walmart, for example.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's all I wanted,
Yeah,
is just to let
we
people
all have
know
the same concern,
that there,
staff does, us as engineers.
that there is a plan, we are taking consideration, we do understand the flow, and what you said is fine. I just think people want to know, because all we hear is about this, this, and this, but what you answered is fine with me, that there is a long-range plan for the people out there. That's fine. Thank you.
Anything further from the commissioners? If not, I would like to thank both the staff and applicant for their comments. At this time, I don't have any speaker cards, but I would like to know if there, as an extension of the call to the public, is there anybody who would like to address this particular issue? Okay. Hearing none, I think we can move on to a vote. All in favor of passing GPA 23-02? Do we have a motion?
No, we don't have. We need a motion.
Do we have a motion? Are we going to have a motion? Okay. And a second, please? Second. Okay, we have a motion by Vice Chair, and we have a second by Commissioner Juarez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's move along to PAD 2217, public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a zoning map amendment on approximately 80 plus or minus acres, effectively rezoning the site from General Industrial CI2 zoning district to the Pecan Grove Planned Area Development, PAD, zoning district. The site is generally located at the northwest corner of West Steen Road and North Murphy Road. Discussion and action. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners. Derek Scherer again. My presentation combined items 5.1 and 5.2. I'm happy to go through the presentation again if the Commission would like.
This is basically the same presentation, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. And I would assume that the applicant would have basically the same presentation. Is that correct?
Commissioner, yes, we'd have the same zero presentation, but be happy to answer any questions you might have regarding.
Okay, that's where we're at.
Would it be easier if we asked the same question?
I already know the answers, yes.
Okay, commissioners? Okay, if not, I would like, again, to extend the opportunity to our public to come up and make any comments that they might have in the spirit of call to the public. Hearing none, that we will close that particular issue. If we have no further discussion, I think we're ready to entertain a motion.
I motion to approve.
I'm sorry, you motion to approve?
Yes.
Okay. Made by, excuse me, by Commissioner Juarez. A second, please. Do we have a
Second.
Second by Commissioner, okay, by, excuse me, Commissioner Singleton. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now, we're going to move on to 5.3 GPA 23-01, but there is some discussion to be had about the designation of GPA 23-01, and I'm going to ask our city attorney, Nicholas Cook, to comment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the commission, as you'll see, GPA 2301 on your agenda is the same item that was previously at a planning and zoning meeting, and the staff report reflects the correct item number. It is GPA 2304, and that's the item that was presented previously when we were at the library.
Okay, thank you. I will now read the public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a major general plan amendment on approximately 481 plus or minus acres, effectively changing the future land use designation from existing low-density residential, which is LDR, medium-density residential, MDR, master plan community, MPC, and open space, OS, to master plan community, MPC. The site is generally located at the southeast and southwest corners of West Steen Road and North Murphy Road, and this is for discussion and action. And staff presentation, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Members of the Commission, Derek Shearer again. I have a joint presentation for items 5.3 and 5.4, GPA 23-04, and a rezone request, planned area development, for PAD 23-01. These two applications are joint applications, but must be acted on separately. The applicant on this, again, is CVL Consultants. This site is located at the southeast and southwest corners of West Steen Road and North Murphy Road, as you can see on the site map above. Murphy Road bisects this site. The overall site is just over 481 acres. Currently, it is vacant land. Some of it is under agriculture at the moment. The general plan for the area calls, right now, the designation is low-density residential, medium-density residential, master plan community, and open space. The applicant proposes to change all of that to master plan community to be able to move forward with a rezone request from the Eagle Shadows planned area development, which is a CR2 and CR3 single-family residential for the entirety of the 481 plus acres, and rezone that to the Murphy Park planned area development, PAD, for development of an employment business park and various residential developments that include single to multifamily developments. On the screen here, I have the current general plan future land use map on the left and the proposed. As you can see, currently the site has several of these designations with master plan community, medium density residential, and low density residential with open space. And the applicant is proposing to change this to master plan community. This change is what generated the general the major amendment to the general plan. Because of the size being 480 acres, we're increasing it from the medium density and the low density residential to a higher classification, which is a master plan community. Although it's a little different with a master plan community, it isn't really higher because master plan community, that category is for, we want to plan an entire community. We're not segregating this to low density residential, medium density residential, commercial over here. We want to do this under one broad leaf of the Murphy Park planned area development, and that's what the applicant is requesting. To the south, you can barely see, I'm sorry I cut it off, but that is the city limit right there on the south end of this property. Right there begins the Action Indian Community Reservation, and just to the south there, that is where the Hickman's Farm chicken plant is. And the current future land use map has single-family residential or low-density residential, which is 2 dwelling units an acre, half-acre lots located next to the chicken plant. It's not exactly very appropriate, and the applicant is proposing to change that. And with this change, the zoning is proposed to change from the Eagle Shadow PAD with the CR2 and CR3 single-family to the Murphy Park planned area development, and I'll get into a little bit of the details on that one. This is a unique PAD that we haven't seen yet in the city, rather than being proposed to have certain areas like the last application where it's residential and a commercial. This isn't designating any specific area for anything. It is creating minimum and maximum land areas, acreages, to be used for certain uses. And I'll get into that in a moment. So for the Murphy Park PAD, the rezone focused on the flexibility of the land use mix. As we can see in the table here, and that's in the PAD booklet, employment, minimum of 80 acres and a maximum of 401 acres. For a business park, no minimum acreage, but a maximum of 240 acres. For residential, on the north end, north of the employment, so employment's going to be on the south end of the property, east of Murphy. Business park is going to be north of the employment or west of Murphy Road. And then the residential is going to be on that north side, which is going to be that corner of Murphy and Steen Road. So as far away from that chicken plant as possible, and then closer to that residential development we just heard before and that commercial. For the residential, it's a minimum of 80 acres, but a maximum of 401. And what this does is this gives the applicant a flexibility to ultimately plan out based on the market conditions and future market conditions, how this will be developed. But this PAD, as opposed to most of our residential PADs, this is for commercial. This is for employment. This is for a business park, a corporate park, which we don't have in the city. We desperately need. We want to build something like this where all our residents could actually be employed here and stay here rather than driving out to, north to the Phoenix area or south to the Casa Grande area, but have a business park here where they could reside in the city and also work in the city. For the residential matrix, the applicant is proposing, so of that minimum of 80 acres, maximum 401 acres, that it's divided into these different categories of density, whether it's multifamily or what we call our alternative housing, which is cluster development, Z lot line, 0 lot line, where the houses are pushed over to the property line on one side and then on the other, and then sort of a driveway in between, or alley loaded product, or an auto court residential where it has that common driveway coming into all of the houses that face this one courtyard for that access, and then they have their private yards all around, sort of in a clustered shape. Or a typical single-family residential with a minimum of 40-foot wide lots. In this PAD, it allows the opportunity for development of any and all of that. And it establishes these maximum and minimums so that with the PAD, there is a component of employment, business, and residential, and it's not segregated completely to, we have X many acres for single-family residential of this size lot, X many of this size lot, and then a little commercial. This is a employment and commercial PAD. So the base standards that the PAD is following for the single family follows our RS5 standards. This is really the only thing that the applicant is proposing to vary from our base standards. I have it up on the screen. So it'll go from your minimum 5,000 square foot lots down to 3,200 square foot lots, 40 foot wide, a minimum lot width, lot coverage increased just slightly from 55 to 60%. And what this is, these lot sizes will allow for development of those alternative housing products, the Z lots or the cluster development or the auto court, where the houses are on these smaller lots, smaller yards, 10 to 15 foot rear yards possibly, the 5 foot separation on the sides, or a zero lot and then open on the next lot where their side yard or their parking or their driveway is, so that the buildings do have that separation for building code standards. PAD does not propose to deviate from the medium density residential, multifamily residential, the high density residential, general commercial, general office, or light industrial. Those categories are base zone standards in the PAD. So when a portion of the project that, say, would be the employment would come in under the general commercial, they would follow the PAD and then our zoning ordinance on those general commercial standards for lot sizes, separation, parking, and all of that. For the elements, with every PAD, as we discussed, that they're required to have these design elements based on what they're asking to waive. The applicant is proposing 20% overall open space for the entirety of the project. So that's 20% open space for the 481 acres. Of that, employment will have a requirement of 10%, business park 10%, and the residential 20%. But overall, it'll be 20% open space between all of them. That'll be determined as projects come in for application for platting and either DRP or preliminary plat and final plats, depending if it's residential. It incorporates these minimum requirements of amenities for the open space, that it has to be amenitized with a certain number, and it's listed in the PAD booklet. I didn't put it up here for brevity, but bocce ball courts, tot lot. But what's unique, it also includes amenities for the employment park. So we can see some of the concept character images that are in the PAD. For this, they are looking to do a corporate park, and in it, it has to be amenitized in its open space, whether it's providing picnic benches, smoker stands, regular open space, but to provide this level of open space that is active for the employees' use. We have not seen that before. Staff has reviewed the proposal, the master plan community designation, given the context of the area and the PAD proposed that the development goals of the area, it's appropriate. Staff has looked at the conceptual plan, meets the requirements of the proposed planned area development zoning, and also the, as outlined in section 18 of the zoning ordinance. Again, this is the GPA is a major GPA, and under state law is required to have a number of neighborhood meetings and meetings in front of the commission. Several neighborhood meetings, previous meeting before the commission, now this commission, and then ultimately on December 5th, the city council. Staff is recommending approval of GPA 2301 and PAD 23, GPA 2304 and PAD 2301, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report, and I'm happy to answer any questions. And again, the applicant is here and be happy to answer any questions the commission may have as well.
Would the applicant like to make any comments at this time?
Commissioner Ryan Weed with Cohen Van Loo, CVL Consultants. I'm happy to make any, or answer any questions you might have regarding this project. I don't have a formal presentation, but I want to thank staff and actually city management for their willingness to kind of go down a path that we haven't taken before with a project like this, and offering the flexible zoning that I don't think the city has seen in the past. So we really appreciate that. We feel like this zoning will allow, help shortcut the timeline that it takes should a major employer come into the city of Maricopa looking for a parcel of 200 acres. If we can imagine if we'd zoned a 160-acre parcel and somebody's looking for 200 or 240, they might pass by a site like this in Maricopa and go somewhere else. So giving us that flexibility, I think, will help reduces the amount of time it takes for a employer like that to get from concept to actual opening of their manufacturing plant, for example, or their business park or whatever use they're looking for. So that's the true intent behind what Derek was outlining, was really trying to get, we think it's a potential economic driver for the city. We'd be happy to answer any of the questions you might have.
Commissioners? Okay. If there are no questions, I'd like to offer a call to the public, if you will, since I don't have any speaker cards. Would anybody like to come forward and make any comments? If not, we'll close that part, and we will move on to, if there's no questions or nothing, okay. Could we entertain a motion, please?
Mr.
Motion to
Chairman,
approve
I move to
GPA
approve.
2301.
Okay, motion made by Vice Chair Robertson,
A second.
the second by Commissioner Hughes.
Correction, 04.
04.
04.
Okay,
Sorry.
all right. Is there any further discussion? If not, we'll take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, related, 5.4, PAD 23-01, public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a zoning map amendment on approximately 481 plus or minus acres from the existing Ego Shadow Planned Area Development, PAD, CR2 Single Family Residential, and CR3 Single Family Residential to the Murphy Planned Area Development, PAD zoning district. The site is generally located at the southeast and southwest corners of West Steen Road and North Murphy Road. Discussion and action. I would assume that both the staff and the applicant's presentations would be about the same.
Yes, Chairman.
Okay.
Same
So-
presentation. I just have one extra slide that I did not show before from the applicant. And this highlights the commercial locations in the city. The dark red are the commercially zoned locations, and the subject site here, where it says site, the 480 acres for business park employment. And that's all I have to add. Happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Commissioners? No? Okay. Can we, would somebody like to make a motion, please?
Mr. Chair, if I might, this is still a public hearing.
Oh,
so-
I'm sorry, yes. Okay. Again, as we have done on the other items, would anybody from the public like to come up and make a comment? If not, we will close that portion of our discussion and move on to entertaining a motion. Okay. The motion is made by Commissioner Hughes. A second, please.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Juarez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving along, 5.5 GPA 22-14, public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a minor general plan amendment on approximately 20 plus or minus acres, effectively changing the future land use designation from mixed use, which is MU, to low density residential, LDR. The site is generally located at the northwest corner of West Sante Road and North Gunsmoke Road. Discussion and action. Staff report, please.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the commission. This is agenda items. I've grouped together 5.5 and 5.6 into one presentation. It's a minor general plan amendment and a rezone for a planned area development for the same project. My apologies on that getting dropped off. I don't understand how the site highlighted in yellow there is located at the that northwest corner of North Santee Road and North Gunsmoke Road. This is approximately 20 acre, just over 20 acre site that the applicant is requesting this minor general plan amendment and a rezone planned area development. The general plan amendment is to change the land use designation from mixed use to low density residential. Low density residential is 2 dwelling units per acre. And then a planned area development. This is for a proposed 26 lot subdivision with lot sizes of ½ acre or more. As we can see on the left hand side, currently the site falls under the mixed use general plan future land use map designation. The applicant is proposing to change it to low density residential. So unlike the previous ones we have where we are increasing, this one is decreasing. The applicant is proposing to also change the zoning from general rural to planned area development for this subdivision. The proposed subdivision is a 26 lot subdivision. It'll be a private subdivision. The main entrance will be off of Gunsmoke Road with an emergency access off of North Whisker Road at the northwest corner of the development. Although it doesn't translate very well here. This proposed development is going to be a private development with private streets, ½ acre custom home built lots, main community park. On the right hand side you can see an example of the conceptual of the main amenity park, which has basketball courts, volleyball court, playgrounds, and then the drainage basins are going to be landscaped and amenitized as well as pocket parks for the development. This is a rather unique PAD. We don't usually see where the applicants are requesting to step down and on their density. Usually they want higher density. They're looking to go lower density to create these large lot custom homes, which we don't have in the city. There is a need for housing of this type, and the applicant is proposing this application to fulfill that. The interior of the site will be controlled by the HOA, which will have a significant architectural design review that follows a PAD and the CCNRs that would come about with the HOA and ultimate platting of the site. Staff has looked at the proposal and the low density residential designation, given the context of the area and development goals of the area, is appropriate. Same with the planned area development, and it meets the section 18 of the zoning ordinance. The site was posted earlier in October with notification letters sent to the property owners within 600 feet. Neighborhood meeting was held on October 27th, and newspaper notice was published on the 28th. We're here before the commission on the 13th, and this is scheduled for the December 5th, 2023 City Council meeting. If I can add, for the PAD, the only real variations that are being requested are for the height of the buildings. These are going to be custom homes. They want to go up a little bit on the actual base height, but then also allow for a greater height for architectural elements such as spires, little towers and things like that, so we can get a really unique housing product. I've seen some conceptual designs and they are very nice. Not your typical 40-foot wide single-story or two-story house. These are significant houses on significantly sized lots. Staff is recommending approval of GPA 22-14 and the zoning case PAD 22-20, subject to the conditions of approval stated in the staff report. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the commission may have.
Would the applicant like to make any comments?
Good evening, I'm David Pounders with Pounders Engineering. Just wanted to give a few comments regarding the design features and kind of the intent behind this development. A cohesive community takes a lot of different components. Some of that is some high density residential in order to fulfill housing needs, but also you want to bring in different makeup, different demographics. And so what we intend to create is an atmosphere where you can come in and somebody can acquire a half acre of land to put a nice custom home on. A lot of the land right now that's available is kind of out in the outskirts. If you wanted to have a nice plot of land where you can build a large home, you're out on the fringes of the community. We want to bring them into the community. And in order to do that, we have to make some architectural concessions to make it more attractive to somebody wanting to come in and build a custom home. Hence the half acre lot size. There are a few lots that are slightly larger. It's also with the intention, with the zoning of low density residential, that someone could conceptually buy 2 lots and have a 1 acre development there. And so that's kind of what we're going for, is to bring in that different demographic and give them a place within the community and not push them out further out. So we wanted to bring in some nice parks, some nice lighting. It's going to be a gated community. So something where they're going to feel like they have their space, but they're still within the community, and architectural features to where they have the freedom to design how they would want to design if they were further out on the fringes of Maricopa. So that's the intention there, and pending your questions.
Okay, commissioners, any questions for the applicant or the staff? I just have one comment, and that is that these are individual custom homes. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I don't know that I've seen something like this presented to us before for custom homes. I congratulate you on your efforts with this. I really do.
Thank you.
If the commissioners, yes, Commissioner.
Okay, the only other question, it's not for the builders, basically for staff. Looking at this community, it looks like the different access points it's going to have. Are there any plan improvements for that piece of land that's between Gunsmoke and Santee and St. Gabriel Way? Right now it's just like a dirt road. Is that going to be part of this project for improvements, or?
Yeah, so Santee is going to be abandoned, and Whisker Road is going to be for emergency access only. That's going to be cut off. Right now there are people kind of going through their rogue, right? And then the Catholic Church has the small dirt road that kind of comes off the corner of Santee and Gunsmoke. Their preference is actually not that people access the church through there, that they want to kind of push people the other way. So by closing off Santee, closing off that part of Whisker, they're hoping that some of that traffic moves over. And then obviously this includes the half street improvements to Gunsmoke. That's where they will come in and out. So it's a single access point with a dedicated entrance, dedicated exit. But then again, there'll be a second entrance point for fire department and other emergency personnel on Whisker there, where there'll be a knock box and a gate to where the fire department can come in.
Okay, yeah, that's the explanation I need, because I feared if the community wanted to exit another way and come down through that dirt portion of St. Gabriel and Santee in that area, then that, I would think it would be improved. But if it's good, that's going to be abandoned, then okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Juarez. Commissioner Irving?
Yeah, I want to make clear, so you are going to pave Gunsmoke?
Correct.
Okay, all the way down from Honeycutt, all the way down to...
Well, our responsibility is the portion that's directly in front of the development. But as I understand, there is a plan for improvement for Gunsmoke that we would be, playing a larger role into.
Yeah, I guess I want to hear that plan, because I understand what you're going to do, but from Honeycutt down to the church to Seven Ranches is just a bumpy road. I'm just curious, what are you going to do with that?
Chairman, Commissioner Irving, I wish I had a full-size map, but yes, the applicant would be responsible for developing that portion of Gunsmoke right in front of their property. There is a plan with the city engineer to have, in conjunction with this, extend that paving all the way up to Honeycutt Avenue. Several other of the properties have put in, I believe, fee and lieu into sort of a bucket to help fund all of that, and then it'll also be partially with a city budget, I believe, but don't quote me on that. Can't speak for the city engineer, but that's my understanding, is from Honeycutt all the way down to Santee Road here will be paved.
Will be paved.
And it'll be in conjunction or with this project on some level.
Then the other question, I'm always just curious, because with the larger lots, they will be able to have horses and things like that, right?
In order to have a horse, you have to have a 1 acre parcel.
Oh, 1 acre, okay.
So if they buy 2 lots, they can have a horse.
Cool, okay, I'm just
Yeah.
curious. I think
Yeah.
that's nice to have that flexibility for people who do want to have horses out this way a lot. Okay, thank you.
One comment I have, or question, in the narrative on existing roadways along the east, west, and south sides necessitating realignment of traffic patterns, who's going to be involved in that process and when?
Well, during construction of the roads, the traffic patterns would get changed depending on how they do it. That would be Public Works and the city engineer. They would work to figure out how to, scope out and plan out when that road's getting paved to make sure that everyone has access during those construction activities and that no one is, isolated.
Okay. Commissioners, anything further? If not, I think we'll go to the call to the public. Is there anyone who would like to come to the podium and make any comments about this particular issue? Yes, sir. Okay, would you state your name and your address, please?
Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, I'm James Knittel. I reside at 18805 North Cook Drive, which is within 600 feet of this property, which is why I was notified that it was going on. My home and the homes on my block are single-level homes with only a couple of exceptions. And the view we have of the skyline, the privacy that we have in our backyards is a function of that low-rise community. This would be a distinct divergence from that, allowing 2-story homes to be adjacent with a 3rd-story architectural feature, which could be a loft, not habitable, but certainly allowing people to be there. And my concern is that our privacy and the character of our neighborhood is going to be changed drastically by this one divergence.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Commissioners, any further comments? If not, do I have a motion?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sorry, I have to close the public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Commissioner Hughes?
Yes, move to approve.
Move to approve. Do we have a second? Second. Okay, Vice Chair Robertson. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5.6, PAD 22-20, public hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall discuss and take action on a request for a zoning map amendment on approximately 20 plus or minus acres, effectively rezoning the site from the general rural GR zoning district to the Seven Ranches Estate Planned Area Development PAD zoning district. The site is generally located at the northwest corner of Restaurante Road and North Gunsmoke Road, and this is for discussion and action. Can I assume that the staff and applicant presentations would be essentially the same?
Correct, Chairman.
Okay. Any questions, concerns on part of the commissioners? If not, I would like to open up the offer to the public to come up and discuss. If not, we will close that part of our discussions. Nothing further from the commissioners? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Juarez. A second, please. Second by Commissioner Hughes. If there's any further discussion, no further discussion, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving along, reports from commission and or staff.
Thank you, Chairman Yocum, members of the commission. We have concluded our meeting this month. We're only having one the month of November. I would say have a happy Thanksgiving and a safe and happy holidays. Our next meeting will be December 11th. That's going to be a regular meeting and a TAC meeting that evening. So we currently have 3, maybe 4 items for the agenda that night, plus the TAC meeting itself. So December 11th will be the only meeting that we will be having in the month of December as well. And just for note, we've already got items lining up in the January first commission meeting, so it's just rolling right along. And that, Chairman Yocum, that concludes my report from staff.
Okay. There is no need for an executive session that I'm aware of. If not, I am looking for a motion to adjourn. So moved. So moved, okay. We are adjourned.